Welcome to the Torfac Show. I am Deeksha, your host, and we will be talking about heritage of Torfac with our special guest Gaurav Agarwal. So let's get started. Hi Jay, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so I would like you to introduce yourself first.
Well, thank you Deeksha. Thank you for starting this. It's a great initiative we are doing at Torfac. I am Gaurav. I am Gaurav Agarwal. I am the CEO of Torfac. I started Torfac, which was earlier known as WiseWorks, back in 2013. Yes. I have been in this industry, in online market research industry for almost 17 years now. I worked in a company, and 8 years back I started Torfac. And I live in Toronto. I moved to Toronto in 2007. And so it's been almost 15 years I've lived in Toronto with my wife and two beautiful kids.
Okay, so congratulations to you on that. So I think we should start from a little back. I think my first question would be, what is the first step you take for a startup?
Well, very easy. A lot of people have asked me this question, and a lot of people spend a lot of time on this, and they wonder about that, okay, what creative they should bring in, what inventive they should bring in. And I simply say that you don't have to be Einstein, you don't have to be Steve Jobs. Just think of a basic problem, try to solve any basic problem. Yes. And yes, people could be solving the problems, other businesses could be solving. Can you find a better way? Can you find an alternate way, yes, a faster way, a cheaper way, a more efficient way, yes, to solve a problem? That's it.
Okay. So can you talk about your entrepreneurial life?
Sure. Yeah, it's been a very wild ride. It's been a very fancy ride.
Absolutely.
Started this in 2013. I had no clue. The only thing I knew is the industry. Only thing I knew that what I can do in the industry. A lot of haggling, finding things, finding details. It's a B2B industry, so it's a lot more complicated because you can't just approach any client like that. It was interesting. It was scary. Yeah. But the thing was, for me, it's necessity that there's no way. A lot of people think about option B, option C. I'll do that if this doesn't work. I don't believe in that theory. I think you should only have an option A, because if you already think of option B or C, you tend to focus less on option A, because you're always looking for an exit and you always find an excuse for yourself. If you don't have any other option, you only have option A, then you give it your 100% and you make it success. And I'm glad I've been able to do that today.
So do you think not having any option B or C is your driving force?
It is truly a very good driving force. I don't consider options. I don't believe in that theory. A lot of students take competitive exams. I know people take GMAT and they say, oh, I'm taking GMAT and I'm not fully prepared, but I want to test the waters. I'm like, no, it is not testing the waters. If you get a low score, you will end up demotivating yourself. So study as much as you have to, prepare, but don't plan for option B or C. Only give it once you're fully prepared. So yes, you are right. It is a very strong motivating force for me, because I know that the only way out of it to be successful, whatever the situation is.
Absolutely. We do see how ambitious you are. You have created an empire. So, kudos to you. Can you talk about one of the worst moments of your life? You have had a long journey. So any worst moment which, eventually turned out to be a motivation?
Well, in the initial years, for sure. I mean, now I have learned so much. I have grown over the years. So now it's very difficult for anything to give me stress, for anything to bother me. Initially, yes, there were a lot of challenges. Even in terms of financing, money was a big problem, because I put in everything. I had to sell everything I had. And when the business was requiring more money, there was a situation where, how can I continue? Should I shut it down? Because I only have X amount of money left, and it will last for next 2 weeks or next 3 weeks. What do I do after that? So that was very stressful. But again, I came back to the first thing we spoke about, option A.
Right.
I said, okay, this is the only option I have, because if I exit out of it, I don't know what else will I do. I have absolutely no idea what else will I do. So I better make it successful.
So do you have any tips for the youngsters these days to who are willing to start their own company, have their own startup?
Cost, I think, one of the biggest things, especially talking to people here in India. I feel a lot of people build ambitious plans, very ambitious plans, that I need this amount of money for computers, this amount of money for marketing, this for hiring these many people. As I said, I didn't hire anyone. We needed software, and I started finding out where can we get free software. And that's when I found that Microsoft had a program I applied for that program and I qualified for it, and Microsoft gave access to all its software library, entire software library, for a period of 3 years, which would have otherwise costed thousands of dollars. So that's why I tell people that in today's world, and this is like 2013, and now we are like 8-9 years later, there are millions of free resources available for everything, right? You need to look at videos, you need to find marketing, you need to find software. There are always alternate available. There are either cheaper options or free options available. So focus on money. It is very easy to spend money, but then you burn it and you're done, right? And then you start blaming that, hey, I could have done better, but I didn't have enough money. So don't do that. So that's one of the biggest advice, because I also invest in other businesses, and I see people would come to me with asking for a certain value, right? And from that value, I mean, recently I was dealing with someone who needed about $600,000, which is about 3.5 crore rupees. From that 3.5 crore, almost 2 crore was on staffing. Okay. And I said, you're beginning your journey, you're starting, and you want to spend half of your money on hiring people.
Right.
That is not the right approach. So that's my, I guess, one of my biggest advice, that do as much as you can on your own, absorb as much as you can. Don't just think out just spending.
So budgeting is very important.
Very crucial, yes.
Okay. So what were your top 3 best decisions in your life ever, like yet?
Do what you know. I also tried doing some other businesses earlier before starting this, and then I realized that the only thing I know at this stage is online market research. I know it extremely well because I've worked in this industry for 10 years at that time when I was starting Wise, and that's what biggest realization, that do what you know. You might have studied, you might have some experience, you have learned, you have done some coaching. Don't just think that you can go out and start playing cricket if you've never picked a bat before.
Yeah, right. Okay. So how was your pandemic life? It has hit us very, drastically.
Right.
So how was your pandemic life?
Well, I won't deny, as everyone else, the entire world, I was scared. Talking to other management people in the organization, there was a scare. How do we handle? How will work be handled? Will we be able to pay salaries? Yeah. Will we be able to run our offices? Will we be able to meet all the expenses, right? So it was a scary phase. Initial couple of months were very, very scary when everything started. And I guess that was a global phenomenon, right? What we came to realize is that we can cut certain costs, right? So we started doing that. Some of the, obviously, travels were shut, so we saved on travel cost. We exited few offices, so we saved on those costs. And we kept working. We absolutely kept working. We worked out some better deals with clients where we could offer them some discount or give them some extended terms so that they are also comfortable, they are not under stress. And we kept going. I mean, and today I'm proud to say that we are one of the rare organizations who did not have to let anyone go during the entire pandemic phase. In fact, March 2020 it started, and we even hired new people in April 2020, in June 2020. We constantly kept on hiring. We never had to let anyone go. So I feel personally proud for that fact.
That's absolutely amazing. So there are always learnings. So what were your learnings from this pandemic phase? Your top learnings from this pandemic phase?
A lot of learnings, I would say, and moving slightly off from the business topic, I guess health, and that was my biggest learning. A lot of people take their health lightly, and I'm sure you also heard people who were impacted by this disease. They were even in early age, like 20s and 30s and 40s, not just elderly, right? And I would also joke around with some of my friends, that shows how healthy you are inside. Right, you may look better from outside, and especially youngsters feel that they are okay. If you are in 20s and 30s, you feel you're fine. But I think this pandemic proved that's not the case. That may not be the case. So taking your health seriously is I think one of the biggest lessons I took, and I feel proud that I try to do my best. And that's my advice for everyone also, is take care of your health.
What would be your non-business inspiration?
I would say my kids. Right, my kids are very active, very aggressive, and when I say aggressive, not aggressive in a bad way, aggressive to do things. Right, they are constantly charged. They get up on their own early, and they constantly need things to do. Right, so that keeps me motivated, that they have so much energy. Even after a rough, tiring day, I can ask them to do something, and they'll be happy to do. So that's a big motivation for me.
Okay, great. So before we wrap up the podcast, we do have a quick session for you. It's the rapid fire round. So we will be asking you quick questions. We will be asking very short questions. So if you're ready.
Sure. Yeah. No. Let's take it.
What is your go-to lazy dinner?
I'm not sure if I can say this based on the audience, but I would say wine and cheese.
Oh.
It's very easy because I don't have to do much. I keep a lot of different kind of cheese with me in the fridge, and it's easy for me to do that. Yeah.
Okay. When are you most productive?
Now,
Okay. Who is your inspiration and why?
my grandfather. My grandfather went on to do engineering in 1940s.
Okay.
And this was a time when he was like demotivated. People didn't want him to study, and he went on and he became a gold medalist at BITS Pilani in 1951. And till date, till 2012 or 13, I last checked, no one was able to beat his score.
Wow. Okay. What's something new happening in your life right now?
I would say this. I would say this day today. Yeah, I was surprised. I'm the lab rat for this new venture, new experiment you're trying. But I'm glad. I think this is a great leap for the organization.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. Being the very first person to be in the podcast. In which subject were you worst at school?
Maths.
Even I was bad at maths.
And then I took it on me to get better, and I can proudly say that I'm good in maths today.
Yes, absolutely. What scares you the most?
Seeing my parents getting old.
Okay.
That's the only thing I cannot control. I
Yes.
cannot do anything about it, so that
Right.
scares me.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would that be?
I guess I'm living in the best city, best place in the world. Toronto is undoubtedly, I will not swap Toronto for anything else.
Is there anything Gaurav Agarwal cannot do?
What I cannot do? No, it may sound very braggish, but no, I feel that now I have that mindset that whatever it is, there's always a solution and I can do it.
What would you change about yourself?
I guess the same thing what you just said, the previous questions. A lot of times I overcommit and I commit things which I should have not.
Okay. What do you love the most?
I love people. I love people around me. I personally feel involved in all the team members we have at Torfac or other group companies. I personally feel motivated to see them grow and part of the family.
Right. When were you the happiest?
This morning, this afternoon, I'm a very passionately positive person. I'm almost an eternally positive person. I try to do that. I try to tell myself that.
Okay. What is your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
A lot of outdoor work, a lot of outdoor stuff because as I said, I was telling my kids are extremely active. So we are playing tennis. That's one of the big thing. Biking is another thing. So we'll go out on biking as a family, hiking as a family. We could hike all day. So a lot of outdoor stuff. We spend time in the nature.
What is one of your nicknames?
GA, I guess many people know it.
Yes.
One of my boss in my previous organization, she gave me because she was finding it difficult to pronounce my name, which can happen with many people outside India. And she started calling me GA, and then it became, so more people started calling me GA than my actual name.
Okay. What is the stupidest dare you have ever agreed to?
Stupidest dare I have ever agreed to. It was 3 years back or perhaps 4 years back, my kids got me a Halloween costume. I don't believe in any such things, but I have to do it. And I agreed to do them. I put on that costume and walk around on the streets with the kids.
Okay. So what item is worth spending more money on?
Yourself, right? Keeping yourself healthy, keeping yourself educated, keep constantly upgrading yourself. So whether it is grooming, you want to look better, whether it is fitness, whether it is better clothing, I think yourself.
Okay. So if you could afford any car right now, which one would you drive?
I would possibly get a Tesla Model X.
Okay. What is the last craft you made?
Last craft I made, I am not very artistic. I did make something for my kids. So my daughter is very creative and they are board games, right? So she would see a board game and then try to make the board game on her own. So I helped her make some dice, some paper dice.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. What is one thing you regret spending money on?
Getting married.
I hope your wife is not watching this. What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay. If you could be transformed into one animal, which one would you choose?
I think human is the worst animal and the best animal, but I would say a lion.
A reason?
Lion doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Lion can be lazy. So if there are animals doing a race, lion would not go out and race because lion doesn't need to prove that he's the fastest.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very glad. One compliment I'd like to give you is, in my sense, it's a compliment. So I think you are a great observer, which is a very good quality. Many people lack it, but I love the thing about you. So
let me tell you a little bit on that
yes,
briefly, because I started my career in the quality. I was a quality tester for a software firm, and I guess my job was to find mistakes.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what I've become now. And a lot of time people don't like it, especially when you're married. So when you say observer, is a very nice word you picked up, but a lot of time people find it as someone who's constantly finding mistakes, who's critical. I can look at a piece of paper, it could be 1,000 words, and it'll take me 3 seconds to point out spelling errors in that.
Okay.
So I have got good in picking mistakes.
No, I would specifically use the word observer because I think that's one of the best qualities.
You're too kind.
Yeah, no, people should have this quality. I am also a good observer, so yes, I do like this thing about other people. So thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to conclude this podcast? Anything you'd like to say? This is the first podcast of the company, of the organization. So any motivational words for the staff?
As I said, Deeksha, thank you for organizing this. I'm happy to be the Guinia pig, the lab rat here. I wish I could show everyone the setup here, the way we have tried to put all the cameras and everything, because we were half prepared, half baked. But with Siddharth and Deeksha, I think we have done an outstanding job. I'll ask you to continue doing that, do a better setup, and we should continue doing that.
Yes, definitely.
Invite more team members for it.
Okay, so thank you so much for listening to the Torfac Show. We will be back again very soon with a new guest, with a new topic. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Bye.